How is it going there? A wee update video here. Plans are changing, things are changing, so pay attention. Hope you like the video. If you do, hit the subscribe button, do us a favour. Thank you. How's it going? Quick update here. We're looking at making some changes. The company that I started up 3 years ago, that we've run everything through over the road in the oil field, it's proven to be quite difficult to do our oil field and our over the road stuff through the same company. Albeit it's worked. Some of the companies in the oil field are looking for a $5 million liability insurance, and you can't split your liability insurances within the same company. You can't say, well, this is the oil field fleet, and you can't say this is the over the road fleet on the same DOT number. Yeah, there are technical ways that you can maybe wriggle around it, but in order to have it separate, you know, if one of our trucks drives into an oil well and creates a freaking national disaster, don't want to have the over the road stuff be penalised for that. So we're going to form another company. It's actually formed already, and we're applying for authority for that one. So the current company will just stay in the oil field and do what it's doing, and the other one will do the over the road stuff. That's the plan for that. And then top of that, the oil field's going good guns, to be honest with you. I'm doing in New Mexico, hauling from Arizona into New Mexico, sand, and that's working out. It's pretty decent. The rates are increasing today. We don't know what they're increasing to, but everything's increasing all the time to compensate, but to try and keep up with the fuel increases. If you're not on the ball with increasing your rates accordingly, you're going to get left behind, and you know, nobody wants that. So on top of forming this new company, what we've done is try to help other people get more trucks and lease them onto us. So Wes has got 2 right now. He replaced the one that got wrecked by getting a Freightliner Cascadia, and he loves it. Good fuel mileage, been reliable so far. He's got another one coming. He's got that coming, and I think that'll be 3 weeks. His third truck will be here, and probably 10 days ago or a week ago, I went down and met with my son down there at the business school in Utah with his new business partners down there, and the one that does the channel here, he's going to be adding some trucks. They are forming a bit technical for me. It's probably a venture studio thing where it's an investment thing where people put trucks in and other things, and so blah blah, over the old man's head a little bit. But one of the things they want to do is buy some trucks and lease them onto a company, because they can see the revenue that can be generated from that and how you can multiply that. So they paid the deposit in their first truck today, so that's them. Young Houston, he's looking to get some trucks, so he's good. I'll tell you what though, the young guys that I've got working for me, they're just quite exceptional. A lot of people call this a snowflake generation, or the next generation after the snowflake. I don't know what it is, but I can honestly say that the 2 young guys that are in their 20s that I've got working for me, they're a credit to their generation because they work hard, they're good. Justin and Houston work flat out for me, good kids. Not without their mistakes in the beginnings, but they're, you know, you put a bit of trust and a bit of faith in these younger guys, and they'll go for it, you know. So that's what's happening with the company. We've got some aggressive growth going on here. We're trying to have 20 trucks by the end of the summer running in this over the road thing. Still keep my old junky things down in the oil field. A lot of trucks are getting to be old and junky now because it's so expensive to replace them. I was out looking at trailers yesterday, and the place I went to also sells trucks, and the guy just said to me, says, this is the new norm. Don't expect anything to be going down in value, because the way inflation is going right now, they're 3 years behind with the truck manufacturing program. And once that's, you know, if they were to stop the world right now, work for 3 years and catch up, that's how long it would take them, is 3 years. But on top of that, people are going to be wanting to replace trucks all the time. I know we do, but you know, our Volvo's got over 800,000 miles on it right now. But it's cheap enough that I don't have to pay fortunes every month to have the thing, and you know. But he said they're selling a used Cascadia right now, Freightliner Cascadia with 400,000 miles on it for $140,000. More than double what it was a year ago. But I said, well, that's okay for the guys that bought them, that are selling them at that price. He said, well, not really, because if you bought it then and you're going to be selling it and getting a new one, some of the dealerships are getting $250,000, $250,000 for a Freightliner Cascadia just out the wrapper, you know. So becomes confusing. Don't want to get caught in that thing, so I'll spin this camera around here and let you see what my plan is a little bit for my own stuff. Wes is hoping to get up to 5 trucks here pretty quick. Young Houston wants to get a bunch, and Tommy and his guys only have half a dozen, and I'm going to have my 4. The one that we've got the 2 running right now, and we've got the one that's in getting the body repair that get wrecked. It should be ready within a couple of weeks, so it will come back and probably run over the road. And we've got these oh yeah, and the one that was in getting where the motor went on it, it was a lease one, they'll swap that with me now. They're working out an arrangement that I don't need to have to pay the freaking $16,000 for a third of the motor. That's a bit of we have a conflict over that. We get along well with all the other things, and this has been set aside so that we can resolve it. So but I'll spin this around and let you see what I'm thinking of doing with these trucks again, because prices are just going through the roof. So hold on a second. I don't know if you remember, before I went back to Scotland at Christmas time there, this yellow truck here, my little granddaughters are coming over from Scotland in the summertime, and they love this thing and want to go for a jaunt in it. So I need to get it ready for then. I've got some time, but before Christmas I took the engine out of it, over there, sitting there, hasn't done a thing since. It locked up in Justin and it quit running basically, and so tomorrow we're going to take that in and put it on the engine stand, and I'm going to pull it apart. That's something that a monkey like me can do. So I'll take that apart, and from there we'll find out what's wrong with it, and I'm thinking to put it straight back in there. I need to get stacks onto that thing as well and do the inside. I took the carpet out and the seats out of it because they were shot. So if we can rebuild that Cummins, I'll do it and stick it back into there. But this thing here, this ugly beast, has got a Detroit in it, and that's going in the shop next week. There was one in there that went get rebuilt in the workshop, and it was supposed to go out, and the guy wanted other things done to it, and it's still in there getting things done, but it should be finished hopefully by the end of this weekend. We'll put this thing in and get that an in-frame done in it. Justin really likes that to go over the road with. We'll put a set of alloys on it, and the ideal flatbed truck, that, you know. So there's that. A wee cat there. Okay, and speaking of cats, oh, good segue there, big man. This thing here that went on fire. Seriously looking at going to the back end of that, cutting the back end off and putting another back end on it and making it either a day cab or getting another sleeper and putting it on it and getting it painted up, because once that's finished it's worth over 6 figures, you know. So it's It's a little bit of work on it, but the way truck prices are going now, it's starting to make it look like it's viable. So I'm actually probably going to do that. I don't know why those freaking cords are on that wheel. Interesting. We'll fun out. But that's what I'm thinking of doing. I was going to take the cat engine out of that. Heading into the workshop this morning to pull an ISX apart. See what damage was done to the yellow truck's engine when it let go going down the hill into California. We need to get that thing back in the road. It's too valuable an asset to have sitting there doing nothing. There's plenty of things I've had to do in the meantime, but time to get it up and running. I don't know how far I'll run it. When the fuel prices are over $5 and that thing gets maybe 5 in a good day. So this is when your hooded truck coolness becomes impractical. You run over $1 a mile for fuel at that rate. Kinda stinks, but it's sitting there, it's paid off, and it's just need to get it going. Won't make as much as the modern trucks, but hey, it's the way the world goes, isn't it? So headed in the other day, see what we can do, pull it apart. I might bring some of the parts back to the house and clean them there, and for it to get rebuilt, if we're going to rebuild it. I'm 95% sure that I'm going to rebuild that blue one that went in fire, because the values in these trucks just keep going up and up and up and up and up, and I don't want to be buying a, you know, an old crappy truck for 6 figures when I've got an old crappy truck sitting there. There's nothing odd in it either, so too bad it's had that damage, but we'll get that fixed, make it worth some dough. So okay, get back to you when we're in the workshop. The engine's still outside, so we're going to lift it in the crane thing and drag it in and put it in the engine stand. And to be honest with you, it's 19 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and oh my goodness, the sun's out. Hopefully it gets warmer, but I'll probably get some grub here before I go into the garage. Workshop, garage, whatever you say. Alright, back at you in a minute. So I've got the valve cover off, rocker cover, whatever you want to call it. Don't see anything untoward, but we'll just outside right now, and I thought I would take the head off of it, just where it sits, investigate, see if there's any obvious terrible damage, and then we'll decide to junk it or if it's worth rebuilding. So I'll probably take the head off and get it redone. It's worth money anyway getting the head done, you know, it ain't that old. So do that first and take it from there. Alright, back in a minute. So that's it, pulled apart. With the Cummins you have to take the two cams. You got to take both cams off, the gears off, and pull the cams out before you can pull the head. Bit of a pain in the butt, but there you go. But that's the bottom half there, and doesn't look like the head's damaged. The pistons are alright, the injectors are alright, and the rest of it is all in there. I'll buy some brake cleaner and clean all these bits up, and at the house, you know, when my daughter goes to bed, I can pop out with a brake cleaner and get high. But this head, we'll put that in the workshop and get them to go through it and pressure test it and do all the things. The last time I did one, it was only about $300, but you have to take everything off of it before you send it in. So we'll see. It's probably looking like the bottom end has something in the crankshaft. Hopefully it's I'm hoping for a piston rod bearing to be grabbed and locked up or something like that, but we'll see if we need a crank or we need a block. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Alright, part cleaning project. So spin it around. So there you go. I wouldn't even want, I've got all these parts in the truck. I'm trying to be careful for once. But yeah, there you go. So the oil smells burnt, you know, badly burnt. So we'll see. We'll see when we get the bottom half done. I'll clean the top half, get everything ready to put back together, and that'll be that. So the guys down the oil field are doing grand. They're in between wells at the minute, so we get some oil changed and a few things. A few things done in the truck today. Trucks, so they've got a little job to do tomorrow and Saturday. Then the well starts back up on Sunday. So that'll be that. Yeah. But other than that, the over the road guys are doing fine. It's all running, and we could use some drivers. If anybody knows anybody that's looking for a gig in driving, if you don't have a lot of experience, you can take you in the oil field, and it's no hard. Just pick up a box and drive, unload it. Very little reversing, very little difficult situations to get into. You don't have to back down an alley in New York City, you know. Oil field is easy, especially in Texas. I mean, up in North Dakota, different matter. Out in the wilds of the frost and snow, but down there in Texas and New Mexico, quite straightforward. So looking for some drivers. So let's spin this around up there. That's the river. Frozen. Don't know if that picked that up, but that's the gig. Been a while since I've been doing anything overly physical. A wee bit sleep tonight, maybe, you know. So alright, I'm boring myself now, so this must be boring for everybody else watching. Apologies for that, but that's the engine taken apart. Clean these parts. We'll get it on the engine hoist, spin it upside down, and strip the bottom end apart. Maybe if I get a chance tomorrow I might do that, but we'll see, man. Thanks for watching.